A lot of people ask me, is Mexico safe? And my answer generally is yes, and it really depends on what you mean by is it safe. And I want to ask you a question, is the United States safe? Most people would say yes, but I know there are areas of Chicago and LA and New York and Kansas City that I would not go to by myself at night because they're not safe. So safety is really a regional issue. It's very individual, has to do not only with a state or a city, but a region. And so you have to be very careful safety-wise in Mexico, just like you would in the United States. The Mexican tourists and the expats here in Mexico are probably much safer in general than the man on the street in Mexico. Mexico and the Mexican government recognizes the importance of the tourist trade and the confidence that tourists and expats have, because a single shooting of 2 drug guys at a hotel in Cancun is international news. Everybody knows about it, right? It's front page news. 2 drug guys shot themselves at a hotel on a beach. Well, that happens all the time where I come from in San Antonio. There are shootings every evening. Chicago, hundreds of shootings every week. So you have to put it in perspective. Mexico is very vigilant about protecting the tourists and the expat areas. In fact, there are several different kinds of police forces. There's the federal police, which are the national police, and they are deployed throughout the country. There are local police for the local police department. And then here where I live, we actually have a 3rd level of police, and that's the naval police, because I live on an island that has a large naval base here. And so the naval, PMs actually do a lot of policing here and provide a lot of police support. So there are multiple layers of police support. Recently, the federal government deployed an extra 1,500 highly trained police officers to the key tourist areas of Mexico to provide reassurance to the traveling public, to the tourists, to the media of the safety of Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 3 years. I feel much safer in Mexico than I did in the United States. I lived in a nice neighborhood in San Antonio, but I would lock my doors during the day. I wouldn't go walking out at night by myself. I wouldn't go walking to a bar or a restaurant by myself. I do that here in Mexico all the time. I personally think it's where I live is a small island. It's a small village. So I feel much safer than I ever did back in the United States. When you look at crime in Mexico, yes, there are gangs, vicious, horrible gangs, just like there are in the United States. And you want to avoid gang areas, and you want to avoid socializing or meeting with people who are in those gangs and are doing illegal activities. As a general rule, the crimes that are committed in Mexico against expats or tourists are more of economic crimes. They would be pickpocketing, they would be breaking and entering, they would be breaking into a car theft, robbery, something like this. Much less of an incidence of violent crimes like rape, murder, or kidnapping. And when you look at it at an international perspective, in many areas, Mexico is far below the United States or even Canada in terms of incidence of violent crimes of specific types. Part of it might be reporting. They might not all be reported. But when you look at the international statistics, it's very interesting. Crimes tend to be in the border areas. Most borders have violent areas. You've got people smuggling, you've got drugs, etc. Areas that are high in drug proliferation, but they aren't shooting up schools and malls here like they are in the United States. Let's face it, we aren't very safe in the United States these days. As you go to the tourist areas, you'll find the tourist areas tend to be the safest parts of Mexico because there's such a government priority in making them safe. You want to make sure that you avoid criminal activity, and at this point, marijuana, pot is not legal in Mexico. So if you want to buy pot, please recognize that you are engaging with a criminal who has some kind of engagement with a cartel member, because that's how he got his pot. So if you decide to do criminal activities, if you get engaged in prostitution, if you're doing gambling, things like that, you are engaging with criminal an element, and you could be more at risk than people who stay away from the criminal element. Generally, tourist areas are safe. Generally, hotel properties are safe. Hotel restaurants are safe. Where I live, police are always protecting, are always patrolling, and they are armed with machine guns. They are here to protect me and make sure that bad guys don't come in and rob people. So a lot of people might get stunned the first time that you see, the police pull in a truck with 4 guys in combat gear holding machine guns up here. We aren't used to seeing machine guns in the United States. Those people are here to protect us. And at special events, etc., they're out in force to make sure that nothing disrupts the special events. So I personally feel that Mexico, where I live, is safer than back home. I believe that most tourist and expat areas are safer, particularly in terms of violent crime, bodily injury, things like that, and than we are in the United States, and it really varies by region. If you're interested in moving to someplace in Mexico, go on to the local forums and talk to the local expats who live there. Do your beta test or travel, do a vacation with a purpose, and talk to people and find out what they feel is going on with the crime. I personally have experience with the police. About a month ago, for the first time in my life, I was robbed by a pickpocket because I was not careful. I had an open purse and I had my wallet. I'd taken it out to give my husband some money and I set it back on time. I didn't put it deep in my purse, and who was an organized criminal, he was able to slip my wallet out of my purse. I reported it at the bus terminal. They sent me to the police department. I filed a report on site. I walked right in, sat down with a police officer. He took a detailed report, 2 pages, gave it to me, signed. With that, I was able to document things like got to get a new driver's license, got to replace certain documents. They told me to go to another place the next day, and I wanted to see the video surveillance cameras of the people who had stolen this. So they sent me to a different office. They were very courteous. They filed a report, a subpoena, if you wish, to ask for the surveillance footage. I went back another time and met with 2 very helpful individuals, and they let me know that there was no surveillance footage recorded because those cameras weren't working, but they were receptive. The one investigator gave me his cell phone number. I provided information about the transactions that were made on the cards that were stolen and what the name of the businesses were, and I sent them the information, and they were actively doing research, and they were going to actively put somebody to do a sting, if you wish, there at where I was robbed, to see if they could find out who these people were. So all in all, I think Mexico is much safer than most places that I've lived in the United States. I would not worry about safety, and make sure that you do your part to be safe. Don't engage in illegal activities, and be reasonable. Don't stagger around drunk in dark alleys late at night. You want to be safe. But as a single woman here for many years, an older woman, I feel totally safe anywhere I go. I'm not afraid here where I live in Mexico, and in many areas I think you'll find it much safer than lots of places in the United States. My name is Diane Huth. I am the Runaway Sherpa, and I help people like you and me learn how to run away from home, escape to paradise, and live on a shoestring budget, half of what it costs in the States, to live 10 times more joyfully. I would love to have you follow my page. If you would like this video, share it please, and then follow and subscribe to my page, because I'm going to be bringing you a lot more valuable information. And if you would like some information, please reach out to me at www.learntomovetoparadise.com, where I can help you figure out how to move to Mexico just like I did. Bye.